Thanksgiving meal. With your support, we've made Thanksgiving Day for these families a little brighter. We want to wish everyone a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
Attention parents of 8 to 12-year-olds, the Lincoln Children's Museum is opening a new exhibit designed specifically with them in mind. Mark your calendars for the grand opening on Saturday, December 13th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. On site, meet Love Nebraska volleyball players, including Lincoln's own Jordan Larson. Plus, the first 100 kids will receive a mini volleyball. Please note, fans must have a child with them to enter the museum. While you're there, be sure to check out the new Rock Wall, Book Nook, and Maker Studio. This event is free for members or included with regular daily admission. Learn more at lincolnchildrensmuseum.org.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Mike Smith, founder of The Bay. Join me every Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for your weekly Disrupt, where me and local misfits will interrupt your drive time with this week's most interesting stories in sports, entrepreneurship, and culture. So tune in to your weekly Disrupt every Tuesday afternoon on 93.7 The Ticket, where disruption is just a phone call away.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake, baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich, golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with
Nebraska Volleyball just wrapped up another match. Join former Husker Mandy Monson as she breaks down the game from the hard swings and perfect sets to the diving digs and precision passing. 93.7 The Ticket's post-game coverage of Nebraska Volleyball starts now.
Welcome, everybody, to another Nebraska Volleyball post-game show. I'm Rudy Gress alongside with our great host, Mandy Monson. Nebraska took down another sweep today against K-State. Mandy, from your perspective, you were in the stadium, you were watching along. What do you got to go off of? Just first initial thoughts so far.
First initial thoughts were, guys, I have to tell you, my seats tonight were fabulous. I did a little upgrade on the seats. I sat in section, I think it was A13, row 4, and I was on the end of the row, and I was literally right behind the bench. I was like, oh my God, I can literally reach out and touch the players. So to have that view was actually really, really cool. It was a different view that I haven't experienced this season yet. Being in the Bob Devaney, being in John Cook Arena, it was a great atmosphere. I think Husker Nation was fired up. I think K-State came in and they played well.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty impressed with how well they played tonight. And I think it was actually a good thing for the Huskers to be pushed and to, have to work through some things, because we had some players that had to work through some things. And I think as a team, we had to make some corrections. I was really impressed with actually their setter. I thought their setter did a good job of running their offense. And, they out blocked us tonight. So they had 8 total team blocks while we only had 5. So they scouted us well, and they did a good job of, I think, making the match competitive. They made the Huskers, work for points. They also did a good job on digging the ball. We still outdug them. We had 48 digs for the night. They only had 32, but I thought their outsides, they're an outside heavy team. They just set the ball to the left side quite a bit. They did that tonight, and I think we did an okay job. I don't think we got quite as many blocks and touches maybe that we would have liked to have had, but I think, we won in 3, guys. We won 3-0. And so it just wasn't, I think, quite the level of play you and I were talking about that, we've seen from the Huskers, but, we still, did some, we still did some great things. I again thought our play out of the middle was excellent. And I think if anything, that is what you want to see. You want to be able to run your middles in the tournament, because when you can't run the middle and you are only setting the outsides or the pins, your offense just becomes a lot easier to defend against. And so, it was a great Husker showing. Husker Nation showed up. So all in all, I think we did well. I think there's definitely some things, they're gonna work on as we, get ready for the Jayhawks to come into town. But overall, it was a great win, and it was super fun atmosphere. It was a great match to be at.
Yeah, and yesterday we talked about a little bit how with K-State going into 5 sets, that might have played a little negative of a factor for them, kind of coming in here a little tired. Do you think I think they played a little better than, not that we thought skill-wise, but more energy. Like, they looked more into it than a 5-set team probably would have looked last night. Do you think that as much as we did think that was going to be the case, could it flip and kind of give them more of a momentum edge coming into this like we saw?
Well, I think they're a gritty team, and I think they played a gritty match 24 hours ago, and they had a good match. They won. They pulled it out, and I think when they came in today, they didn't seem to be overwhelmed by the crowd. And there are some Nebraska kids that play for K-State, so I think they rose to the challenge as much as they could. And I thought I thought their setter set the ball and ran the offense well. And let's see, it was number 18, I want to say, and she's a Nebraska kid. I think she's from Eagle, maybe Brenna Schmidt. She got some blocks. I mean, she got a block solo. She got 4 block assists. So she, that middle did her job against us,
Yeah.
So I think we'll go back and look at, hey, what were we doing on the attack? Like, is it a decision-making thing? Was it a setting thing? Is it a combination of both? It seemed like Virginia maybe struggled tonight. It wasn't a maybe. I mean, she did, like in sets 1 and 2. Allie came in set 2 and did a great job. But then they put Virginia back in, which I was glad to see, because we're going to need Virginia as we continue, through the conference. But, K-State did a good job of putting a block up against her. So, like I said, I thought it was, a great match. And it was great to see the Huskers, sweep it in 3. I think we're just right. Again, we're very spoiled here in Nebraska land, and the Huskers are a very efficient team. And so, when they basically play at what a lot of teams do and only hit 253, we're like, oh man, but we're not like, oh man, it's just not quite at the level that we're used to. So, I think that's why that's that kind of overall feeling of what this match was.
Yeah. And then we have some comments coming in already pretty early on from Troy here. He said, Nebraska looked a little sleepy and out of sync. It felt like a V8 engine running on 4 cylinders. How do you interpret that a little bit, or at least tie that into what we saw today, or how they can kind of bounce back from that kind of?
I mean, I don't know if they look sleepy. I think K-State did a good job. I mean, like I said, I was kind of at a level watching the Huskers today where you could see them interact. I thought we passed the ball well. So yeah, it just wasn't, again, it just, it just wasn't quite at the speed that we're used to. But I think K-State probably did a good job of running their offense, which, again, I think that's good that pushed us, you guys. Like, because as we continue through the bracket, and I do want to interject right here, you guys, I have a phenomenal guest that is going to be on the show. And we're going to bring actually Coach Terry Pettit on, who was my head coach here in just a little bit. But I would love to see, what coaches' thoughts are too on that. I mean, I don't think we were sleepy. Like, I totally get what our viewer is saying, because I think the game did feel a little slow. So I agree with the viewer. I think it just, I think K-State did a good job. I think we have to rise to the occasion, and we're going to work on those things, this next week as we, lead up to the next round. But as we go into the show, you guys, I'm so excited. We have a phenomenal guest that is coming on. So Coach Pettit, who was the head coach at Nebraska from 1977 to 1999. I played 96 through 99. I asked him to be on the show tonight, and I am just so excited. Coach Pettit led the Huskers for the first Husker National Championship in 1995 by defeating Texas in the final. He is one of the greats in coaching, and in addition to winning 1 national championship, he won 18 Big 8 championships and 3 Big 12 championships. So everybody, please welcome Coach Pettit to the show. Coach, I am so pleased and so happy that you are on the show tonight. I really appreciate it.
Mandy, how are you?
I am doing so well. We are so excited that you are on the ticket tonight with us. To start the show off, Coach, I want to get your perspective. And what did you think of the Huskers tonight against K-State?
Well, you were probably in the arena.
I was.
I'm watching from a van down by the river on ESPN Plus. And I do appreciate having the opportunity to watch every match on ESPN Plus, but the broadcast was a little different in that it didn't pick up crowd noise, so it's hard for me to tell. It just felt kind of like a sterile environment, and then it appeared to me that Nebraska was, I guess the best word I could think of would be flat.
Yeah.
And I don't know the reason for that, other than it happens sometimes. And I think Coach Kelly has done a nice job this year when they have played opponents that maybe don't match up physically with them, that they've had some specific goals or something they worked on to get better. And I didn't sense that type of execution. I thought she made a nice substitution when Allie Check came in for Virginia in the second set. And I believe Allie's the only pin hitter that hit, above maybe 250.
Yeah, Allie hit 5. She hit 500. She had 2 kills off of 4 total attacks, 0 errors.
Yeah, and
Yep.
And then Virginia came back in the next set, and I assume that she came back in to try maybe and give her some success in the third set. I was kind of hoping I get to see some more of Allie Check, because she offensively, she does a lot of really nice things.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a question for you. Obviously, having, coached and been in that position where you're going through the NCAA tournament and you're trying to determine at that point in time, okay, I got a player who has struggled like Virginia. I got a player who, I've put that other player in. They are having some success. But how do you make that decision as far as if you let that one player kind of work through, what is happening within them at the time when they're maybe struggling, rather than to, just pull them and keep them out? Like, what does that look like from a coaching perspective?
Well, I think I'm pretty sure probably Coach Kelly believed that Nebraska had, even though they might not have played their best match, that they had control of the match. So she could make that decision not based on the next point, but on her overall belief on what they were going to need in the regionals and in the Final Four. Yeah, it's, I think from about mid-season on, it's been apparent that she believes that Virginia is the player for whatever reason, whether it's blocking. I look at their blocking stats, and actually both of them block per set the same as Bergen does.
Yeah.
0.6 of a block per game, which is a little surprising. That's probably lower than they're probably blocking better than that stat might appear, because they're winning a lot of matches quicker than most teams.
Yeah, that's true.
So if sets were closer and lasting longer, they'd be averaging more blocks per set. But there's certain advantages to having a left-hander over there, and Nebraska's won national championships with left-hand with Reitzma and Pavin, and the left-hander that Coach Cook had in 2016. So particularly when the setter digs the ball, it's an advantage to have somebody who is left-handed on that side. But
right.
But that coaching staff is in practice every day, and they know. I would be surprised if they aren't making the right decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of when I was watching the game, and I talked about this in the intro. So I actually had seats that were literally right behind the bench. I was in the section A13, row 4. So it was really cool. I kind of got to see, some of the timeouts and whatnot. And that's kind of the feeling that I got tonight is that, Coach Busboom Kelly, I think she did a great job of putting Allie Check in because I think it was needed. But I think she it looked like she was making the decision of, hey, I'm thinking about what this is going to look like for us as we progress through the Sweet 16 and get to the Final Four and get to the championship, to let Virginia kind of get her feet under her again, rather than maybe have not a great showing and have that hanging out in her mind for the remainder of the tournament.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bergen made the adjustment right away.
Yeah.
Allie gets a little quicker ball.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
That's not easy for a setter. Sometimes you'll have middles that hit different tempos, and it's not easy to come off the bench either.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
In football, they have a net over there where the field goal kicker or the punter can kind of warm up. I've often wondered if we needed something like that in volleyball, where somebody who hasn't been in the match could loosen up their shoulder and pitchers warm up. At any rate, everything was flat, and there were the Kansas State setter who I thought played well, and I believe she's from Papillion or Omaha. Had 4 or 5 dumps in the middle of the court that normally don't go.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
You probably remember this speech from me, but volleyball's an incredibly hard game to play well, and particularly at a college level. Maybe if you're in your late 20s or early 30s and you've played internationally, maybe everything is you don't have to continually grind at it. But in college volleyball, if you aren't if your mindset isn't there, and if you aren't prepared to really go after it, then things like that happen. Balls fall in the middle of the court.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the other hand, Nebraska has enough experience and talent to not let that affect the outcome of the match. But I would be curious. I guess I would be curious about a couple things. One, a coach, I would be curious how they practiced this week coming into these matches. And then the other thing would be whether or not, what was said in the locker room following the match. I've not seen Nebraska be that flat all year, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Rudy and I were talking about that, Coach, and I'm going to give you some stats because I don't just disagree. And I agree that definitely the Huskers were not quite at the level that they were at. But when you look at, I'll give you some individual performances and then some team performances, and then also where K-State was. So I thought the middles played very well tonight, but Andy Jackson had 10 kills off of 15 attempts. She hit 533.
Right.
Harper Murray got a lot of balls tonight because I think we had the ball out of system more than is typical for us. She got 10 kills, 31 total attacks. I mean, she usually does not get 31 total attacks. She hit 129. Landfair, who I thought played well, she hit some really nice cut balls. In fact, one time I almost touched it, you guys. It came into the crowd. Taylor Landfair hit 8 kills off of 18 attacks, 278. Virginia Adrianos, only 7 kills off of 12 attempts, 167. Rebecca Alec hit over 300, 6 kills. Allie Check at 500. Nebraska hit 253. Now, when you compare that to K-State, right? They only hit 118. They only had one player that was over 200, which was that middle. I thought that middle for them, 18, who was from Nebraska. She played well. She's from Eagle, Nebraska. Nebraska had 48 digs. K-State had 32 digs. They did outblock us at 8 blocks. We had 5 blocks. So, when you like, a lot of teams would look at those stats and be like, oh, wow, we really, but I think we play at such a high level when we have a game where we are not hitting over 300 or in the 400s and we're not out blocking. For us, it seems flat. So, here's a question for you. How do the Huskers take this performance and I guess not overthink it as being a poor performance? And what do you think they're going to do this week as they get ready for next weekend? Because the competition next weekend is going to be at a higher level. We're going to play Kansas in the first round. And then I think I'm guessing Louisville got through. And I watched a little bit of Louisville today. They're a great team. So if they're in the regional finals, that's going to be a tough team for us to play. So how do you prepare this week after having a match like this going into next weekend?
Well, I think the players are smart. They're experienced. They know that it wasn't their best night.
Yeah.
So they're not going to. I don't think the coaching staff will have any issue getting their attention. What I look for in matches like this do I see evidence of maybe preparing something that they might be used later on down the road? And I didn't see that. I didn't see, for example, I didn't see Terea. Maybe she had one back row attack. I'm not sure. I think it's very difficult to compete and win a national championship without pretty strong back row attack these days.
Yeah.
And Harper is an exceptional back row attacker, but it helps to have that in all 6 rotations. So, and I don't know whether they may be working on that in practice and not showing it as much. Sometimes you do things like that. I think maybe when you were on the roster, when we prepared for Terry Walsh.
Oh yeah.
Every day of the season, even though we never knew we would get to play her. But Corey Helly used to approach off a box in the back court for 5 minutes at the end of every practice. It'll either be. It's likely going to be either Texas A&M or Louisville in that other match on the other side of the bracket, and Texas A&M runs a pretty fast offense, and that's opponent preparation. I think the larger issue is taking care of your own issues and I thought both Choboy and Mock played well tonight. I didn't see any let down there. It was more on the attacking end, and they aired it close, a little over 18%. That's high. That's high for a team playing well.
Yeah.
You'd like to have your air percentage down around 10 if you could. The way Nebraska averages just under 19 points per set when you combine blocks and aces and kills. So they're looking to get 6 points every set from the opponent,
right.
An opponent error. Well, the teams don't usually get 6 or 7 points from Nebraska, but tonight they did, and that's why K-State hit statistically was low, but still was in sets until 15, 17 points. it wasn't because K-State was playing at the same level. They were doing a lot of things well, but it was also Nebraska's unforced errors.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think Nebraska ran a left in to Harper at one point. She came in on a 2, and it looked like, I think they called it a block, but I think the ball actually hit the top of the net, and I think I saw Harper laugh, and which is what you want in that situation. You want somebody hanging their head, but that's a ball she normally would score on.
Yeah.
So Louisville and Texas A&M present different issues. Louisville, I think, is either first or second in the country in blocking, and with Texas A&M, it's tempo. And I think Nebraska will prepare very well for those situations. I think when Harper does so many things for Nebraska, she probably receives as many balls. She blocks. She blocks on the left side. She's their best server. She has the most attacks. So if she's a little bit off, it probably shows up more than if Virginia is off. If Virginia is off, they have somebody to come in. If one of the middles has an off night, then they have a great third middle who's hitting over 500 and actually leads the team in blocking. And but I don't know that I've ever seen them substitute for Harper Murray. So she's Nebraska has great depth, but they play when they play great. Harper Murray's playing great.
Yeah. One thing, you bring up some good points. One, I like, I appreciate having you on, because hearing you talk about the average points from blocks, aces, and kills, right? 19 points. And then the other points coming from errors from the team. And typically we don't give up as many points. And I will agree with you in that actually this whole weekend, we definitely had, I think Nebraska's going to go back and look at their service errors. And that's one place that we erred this weekend that we just typically do not. And, we gave up some points that way. And tonight, specifically with K-State, they out blocked us. And that is just, very rare. You were talking about that attack that Harper came in, on the 2, and it looked like she was going to get just a point off of that, and a pretty strong point. And really what 18 did is she got stuck with her feet, but she's got some long old arms, and she just, she did a good job of moving her hands. And, I think she got a touch. If she didn't, even if Harper hit it into the net, if she would have hit the hands. So, to me, it just seemed like sometimes too, maybe we were, I don't know if it was the atmosphere, but maybe, I don't want to say tight because we weren't tight, but there were some times specifically with Virginia that I thought, she was trying to rip a ball that maybe her body just wasn't in, alignment. But I think you bring up a great point that, we just usually don't give up that many points. And I think specifically when we go into next weekend, we're going to have to work on that, in practice. So.
Well, Mandy, the thing that I worry, the thing that was the hardest, most difficult thing for me to deal with as a coach, and it didn't happen very often. It might happen once this season, is when a team comes out flat.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you can't just flip the switch. And it isn't one player, it isn't one thing, and it's an energy issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is the thing that I would be the most concerned about if I was coaching today, and this would be regardless of what team I was coaching. I don't know if you had a chance to watch Cal Poly play USC?
I did not.
Well, that went. Cal Poly beat BYU. Cal Poly is not in that power conference, but they win their conference tournament, and the team that won the conference, Cal Davis, doesn't get in. Cal Davis has a really good volleyball team. They don't get in because of the bias toward the 4 power conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cal Poly comes in, beats BYU, who's ranked, beats USC in their own court. And USC, as the match is evolving, USC, it's evident, has better athletes. And if USC passes the ball, it's Cal Poly's not going to win. But a freshman comes in the 5th set and just blows up USC with her serve. She served the ball as hard as I've seen anybody serve it since that setter from Penn State back in 2013.
Yeah.
That was, she may have been National Player of the Year. But that's the biggest difference I see in the game today and, say, 10 years ago, that there are a lot of teams out there that have somebody that is very disruptive with serving. And it's usually a hybrid serve or a topspin serve that's hit very hard. There is some risk in it. So the service errors to me aren't the key statistic in serving. It's points per rotation.
Yeah.
So if you're going, Nebraska leads the country in points per rotation. Nebraska's averaging 0.5 points every time they serve. So 50% of the time they serve, they're scoring a point. Nebraska is siding out at 0.7, which also leads the country
right
in serving. So if you went out and you served an ace and you aired 50 times and aced 50 times, you'd be ahead of everybody in the country. It's what's happening when how many points are we averaging when you serve? And so you look at a rotation like Nebraska's first rotation, where you've got an exceptional block all the way across the board. I mean, you got Taylor Landfair 6'5", the right side 6'5". You have a ferocious middle blocker. So Bergen Riley's going to run points in that rotation.
Yeah.
But she still has to serve tough, because if somebody gets a perfect pass, there's a good chance they can split even the best block and have a side out. So it's not always service errors. And I think Nebraska has worked hard at trying to improve the difficulty of their serving. Virginia at times has had a very difficult ball to pass hybrid serve.
Yeah.
Eddie Jackson has a similar serve on the right side. Those people wouldn't be serving. There would be smaller DSs serving if the coaching staff didn't value the idea of the potential to make runs in those rotations. So, I don't know how the Stanford match worked out, but they'd split through 2 sets with Arizona, and A&M didn't look maybe as sharp as they'd look. So I don't know how long you can go where you're I don't want to say in the zone, because that's kind of a mythological beast. But you don't necessarily want to play your best volleyball this weekend if you're Nebraska. On the other hand, you want to be alert.
Right.
And and I didn't sense that the alertness I've seen all year long was there tonight.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I absolutely love the data that you are giving us tonight. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to take a short break right now, guys. And when we come back, Coach, I would love to get your thoughts on who you see in the field, who you think is going to keep progressing, and, who you're really looking at to get to the Final Four, to get to the national championship, and who you think is probably going to be, our greatest opponent. So we're going to go to a break, guys, and we'll be right back.
The savings continue all November long at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln. They're extending their red tag sale with machines priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Plus 10% off snowplow kits, 10% off fly motocross gear, and 50% off all in-stock road tires. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for the holiday season.
This Black Friday, it is time to hit your goals before the new year even starts. At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, get 40% off our next 10-week challenge, plus 6 weeks for free to kickstart your fitness journey. Start training December 1st with kickboxing, strength training, and personalized nutrition. So when our official challenge begins January 10th, you're already ahead of the game. Spots are limited. Don't wait for January to make your resolution. Start strong now. Visit fxblincoln.com or stop by one of our 2 locations at South 40th and Yankee Hill or North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. Stronger starts here.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and it's that time of the year again. Time for the annual Happy Honda Days at Honda of Lincoln. With me on the line, Andy Goodyear, to tell us all about it.
The exciting news is we have more selection and more savings. We have over 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from, with a great opportunity to get year-end savings on every remaining new 2025.
Do you have some Happy Honda Day specials?
Sure do, Charlie. For example, you can lease a new 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid for just $349 a month, and we have financing from just 0% APR. We've also included over 125 pre-owned of all makes and models, and as always, our certified pre-owns are in this sale as well.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This holiday season, give the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's. During double discount days, double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and our gift cards make the perfect holiday gift. And right now, during gift card double discount days, when you buy $50 in gift cards, get a $10 gift card free. Happy holidays from Valentino's.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Acreage owner getting ready for winter? Make it easy with John Deere compact tractors and gators from Acres Equipment. Add snow blowers, front blades, cabs, heaters, and loaders to tackle every chore. Right now, in-stock units are priced to move with competitive financing to fit your budget. Get winter ready today at acres.com. Acres Equipment, Your acreage handled. Financing subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial. Not all customers qualify. See dealer for details.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
If you're a business owner, I want you to think about the amount of time you've spent worrying about safety and security. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies design custom solutions for security, communication, and so much more. From automated security to secure video conferencing, their team sits down with you to get to know you and what your business needs. Manage your operations and get notified when there is suspicious activity. Save time and cut back on stress. Diode Tech always keeps you in the know. Contact them today at 402-793-5124.
Back to Nebraska Volleyball postgame on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, former Nebraska outside hitter, Mandy Monson.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the post-match show of the second match of the NCAA tournament, and I am just so pleased to have Coach Terry Pettit with me tonight, breaking down the weekend, breaking down the Huskers, and also just talking a little bit of bracket, right? Looking at what does the field look like? Who are we? Do we think we're going to come up against and play? And who does Coach Pettit think could give us a run for our money? Who does he think are really, standouts in the field? And, what can that look like for us going forward? So, Coach, as we continue to progress through, our bracket, Rudy and I were just talking. So Louisville actually went 5 with Marquette today. So what are your thoughts just for our bracket, next weekend, going into next weekend?
Well, there's a lot of teams that I haven't watched closely. I've seen almost all of Nebraska's matches, but I always begin with the setter position because I used to remember sometimes a former setter would come back and work camp.
Yeah.
And they would come in and play in the staff match, and they would take the second side, and all of a sudden, those people looked organized and were highly competitive because a great setter has the ability to help a team relax when maybe they're not playing well. And I think I've not seen anybody better than Bergen all year. So that bodes well for Nebraska, regardless of who they're playing. I think she's for sure the best I've seen out of system.
Yeah.
And so much of the match is played out of system now. And that means her ability to get her feet behind the ball and set hittable balls. And that is not an easy thing to do. And she can do it either pin. She's capable of coming off the net 12, 14 feet and firing the ball to the middles. I'm trying to think what other team has a setter that is as experienced and as talented as she is. And there's good players out there, but I if I had my pick, that's who I would take. Now, in terms of other teams, next on the Monday following regionals, Kirsten Booth, great Creighton coach,
Yep.
former Creighton coach, and Jim Stone. Jim Stone writes a newsletter, and Jim studies volleyball as well and better than anybody I know. And then Val Novak are going to be on my podcast, and we're going to talk about those Final Four teams, whomever they happen to be, and how they might match up. But I think the regional that I think is going to be very interesting is the Texas regional.
Yeah.
That's you're going to have Stanford and Wisconsin. Stanford and Wisconsin are going to meet in one half of the bracket, and I'm not sure who Texas would be playing in the other half.
Indiana, and they're good.
Oh,
yeah, they're
yeah.
I watched Indiana obviously play Nebraska, and then have watched them on TV a couple times. I mean, they have some good outsides. They got a good right side. So, I mean, who do I think will win out of Texas and Indiana? Probably Texas, but I do think Indiana, can absolutely push Texas for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think from what I've seen, from a talent standpoint, Stanford and Wisconsin, I think, can match Texas in talent. And the Stanford setter is out right now, very gifted freshman. She's in concussion protocol, and the other setter set tonight. But I would think by next week, there's a good chance she would be back. And Wisconsin, I think when they got their setter back from a shoulder injury, that they're a different ball club. I also think that Wisconsin prepares as well for teams as anybody in the country. They also have a tremendous left side hitter. They've got an All-American middle. I think they have an edge to them, and I think to play in Austin against a very good team, an equally talented team, you have to have an edge to you. You have to have, the thing I don't know about Stanford is whether or not, we're talking about voodoo stuff here, but I don't know whether Stanford has the edge. And as my friend Don Shaw watches Stanford a lot, and as he's pointed out to me, they don't have back row attack.
Yeah.
Or they haven't shown it to this point. So that's going to be very interesting to me. That regional is the one that Texas is going to meet. One of those two is going to meet one of those two teams in the finals there, and that could be a very interesting match. I think Dan at Pitt is a great coach, and I think his team has a great mindset. And Olivia Babcock, that movie Stand By Me?
Yes.
Where the kids are hop over the fence to the junkyard and the dog chases them. Olivia Babcock is the most physical player in college volleyball, and she can take over a match. And those type of players become really important in end game. It takes a balanced team to get you to that point, but you need somebody who wants the ball. And I think maybe SMU comes through that regional, and
they do.
So she's done a tremendous job, and she's not getting, the transfers she gets are not coming primarily from other, like Penn State got Kennedy Martin from Florida, and Texas got a tremendous player from Pitt. She's taking players from non-Power 4 schools, so she must be very good at evaluating talent, and they have the resources to recruit those players and get them. They're very good, but if push came to shove, Pitt's playing on their own court, so you almost have to go with with teams that will be hosting regionals, with one exception that I think I would not want to be playing Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I can just say that. And Nebraska played against Wisconsin, played them well. But I do think with the return of their starting setter and that they have the wherewithal to and the mindset to win in that environment. But don't go down and place any bets on what I think, because as you know, what we don't know, the first thing I would ask with all these schools is, when are your final exams?
Right.
And how are your students doing, and how are their relationships? And because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. And what you hope is that a program, the culture is strong enough and the leadership is strong enough that's very steady. Creighton, played a great match against another great team the other night, Northern Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that Nadam Simpson did not play and hasn't played for some time. Well, she was playing right back and attacking out of the back row. Well, when you remove that element, it means that now they're pretty much Ava Martin's the only person attacking out of the back row.
Yeah.
That changes that. Just that little thing changes things. But it would not surprise me if Creighton gave Arizona State a great match in the Kentucky regional. The advantage Kentucky has is the advantage we used to have when you worked on a 1956 Ford. You could lift up the hood, and most of us with a little learning could figure out where the spark plugs went, and simple is great. And Kentucky has two great left side players and a developing right side pin hitter, and they play well. They play well under pressure. There's just not much that can go wrong.
Yeah.
Because both of those players come to play every night, and they're just as strong out of the back row. They're great servers. So if I was pushed to say what two teams might have the best chance of being in the Final Four, it might be Nebraska and Kentucky. But things get a lot different in the next round. We had a lot of what's happening in volleyball is that the talent is filtering down into the top 8 to 10 teams. And I don't like that because of the portal and NIL. But that's what's happening. And so these next matches, you're going to see some more 4 and 5 set matches in the next round.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. I mean, I feel like watching the entire field this year. I mean, even with what you just said and the portal and how maybe it's getting more concentrated in that top 8, I still feel though like it's such a very high level of play. And when I watch all these different teams on the networks that are played every weekend, which I think is phenomenal, I'm just really pleased to see at the level of play. And I just wanted to get your thoughts of like, okay, where do you see, volleyball today compared in years past? Do you think it's being played at a higher level? Like, what do you think the landscape is like today in your eyes?
Well, I think so many things have changed. I looked at the UFC bench tonight, and it looked like there were 8 coaches.
Yeah.
Now they're not all coaches. You can only have 4, but there's just more investment in it.
Yeah.
So the arm speed is better. The athleticism is better. We see more minorities playing.
Yeah.
Arizona has an extraordinary outside hitter, and I'm biased. I hope she stays at Arizona. I hope that she doesn't end up in some other program next year. Mandy, I've not talked to anybody out of coaching, whether it's Kirsten or Don Shaw or anybody out of coaching that says, boy, I'd like to be back in it today. And that doesn't mean that the play isn't extraordinary. It's just you invest so much in someone that you want to know that person's going to be there.
Yeah.
That person that you've worked to develop is going to be there, and that's why it was so much fun. One of the teams that I have a chance to work with is Northern Colorado. 2 women that were in their 4th year this year who'd never been on the court started on a team that won their conference championship and went 5 with Creighton. And that how much pleasure that gives you as a coach to see that type of development, to see somebody do things and to see athletes who had a sense of commitment that didn't get their rewarded initially because there were better players, but they stayed there.
Yeah.
And they stayed there until they got their opportunity. And it's a question of what you value, and certainly that's something that you're familiar with, and that we were all familiar with than maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and Nebraska and Stanford probably have the fewest transfers. I don't know that Stanford has a transfer. Nebraska has one.
Yeah.
But most of the teams that are going to be competing for national championships have several.
Yeah.
So
I think we obviously we didn't have anybody transfer out, but we had Allie Check transfer in, and then obviously last year Taylor Landfair transferred in. So we are unique that we were able to hold our players. How how do you think in regards to the coaches today? Right, it's just a different game today as far as meaning the whole coaching and recruiting thing. I mean, I think Danny Busboom Kelly is an excellent choice for Nebraska because one, she is right. She's been coaching. She's been doing her thing, but she's also a former player and understands what it's like to be at Nebraska. So how important do you think that choice was today to be able to bring her back today in this different landscape of coaching?
Danny would be a great choice if it was the national team or a junior college.
Agree.
I mean, she has great emotional intelligence. She understands the game. She understands not to. I mean, the first job of a head coach is to not get in the way during a match.
Right.
Not do anything that takes a player out of a match. I think they, for the most part, they do a good job of that. I was watching Marquette. Who did Marquette play tonight? They went 5 with.
They went 5 with Louisville, right?
Louisville, right?
Yeah.
Right, and the Marquette coach is somebody that I helped hire at South Carolina, and he did a great job there. But in the most tense moments, he was very relaxed.
Yeah.
And as he went into the huddle, there was no panic. And if there's a time and a place to challenge players, but that time and place is practice. It's not during a competition. You can't imagine a director of a play running out and yelling the person playing Hamlet, yelling at them that they weren't saying their lines right.
Right.
or telling him to technically do it different. So the coaching is very, very good, and very few schools don't have, an exceptional coach. But it's the dynamics are different, and so if you want to be a great head coach today, you also need to be need to be great in fundraising. You also have to be great in hiring complementary talents on your staff, and you need to be great in public relations, and you need to be great in marketing. And people get into coaching because they think it's just about X's and O's at 3:00 in the afternoon, and that's important. But there's a lot that goes on underneath the water that I don't think particularly younger people or people that get into coaching quite understand. And that's true in every business.
Yeah.
There's stuff there that you just aren't aware of. And, Nebraska's really fortunate in that we have had, really, I would say since Bill Byrne, became the athletic director and Barbara Hibner was our SWA, we've had not just financial support, but you've had the emotional support of a university. You have to feel like what you're doing is important to people, and it's always been important to fans. But you know what it's like if you think sometimes all your boss has to do is say to you, "I appreciate what you're doing," or call you up the next day and say, "Hey, it was a tough loss, but you're doing a great job."
Yeah.
And that sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how many places don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's so. I think what's already happened is that we've put these young women in a place where they're entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
And that part I'm not as in tune with, because to me, the more that happens, the more difficult it can be to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
And to give up something for the sake of the team.
Yeah.
But they seem to be doing it.
Yeah.
And and Danny appears to have a wonderful staff as well.
Yeah, she really does. Like when I just in observing them, honestly, this whole season, I think she is a phenomenal leader. And I think her assistant coaches are, wonderful. Jalen and Kelly and Brennan, they've done an incredible job. But it's just a different atmosphere. And I think you bring up a great point, and I hope many young people that are looking to coach or that want to get into that game, I hope they'll maybe come back and listen to this, because it's true. It's just it's not just the X's and O's. There's a lot of other things that are going on as a head coach, which is why you have to have great assistants. Before we wrap up, Coach, I have to ask you this. I want to get your thoughts on the middle duo that we have with Andy Jackson and Rebecca Alec. I think they're the best in the country. I have not seen any other team in the field have middles like we have. And I think that our middles are actually going to be the ones that really, and they've set the tone all year, but for them to continue to do that, that's going to take us to the national championship and going to have us win that national championship. So I want to get your feelings on and your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on the middle duo that we have and how we compare to other teams in the field.
Yeah, they're extraordinary and they're complementary. Their personalities are different. They're intense in different ways. I actually posted a photograph of of Andy, and the photograph came from the Daily Nebraskan because she was just taking off on the slide. And I wanted people to understand how that move works. And her knee was up by her chest.
Yeah.
Her right knee was up by her chest. And when you do that, then it promotes a higher jump, but it also rotates the hip, which speeds up the arm speed. And that's what you're seeing. But it all begins on the floor, on the ground. And Rebecca is a different offensive player this year. Her arm speed has improved dramatically. You could switch them and play Rebecca at M1 and run her on slides, and you'd be very effective. So yeah, that everything you said is true. That they are exceptional, but it's the position that depends the most upon other people.
Yeah.
It depends the most on ball handling and touches and setting. And the thing that Danny has done is that she has widened their ability. It would be like, if your weapon were hand grenades, you can only throw them so far. Well, what she's done is, she's got grenade launchers.
Right.
That they're setting the middle further off the net.
Yeah.
Which the pin hitters benefit from, because the middle blocker on the other team has to hold. She can't just go, because you can look foolish if you release the most personal thing that happens in volleyball is if you're blocked straight down, or if somebody just slams the ball down right where you should be, where you should be blocking. So they're wonderful players. And Rebecca's from Lincoln, and Andy actually is from a small club, and the lady that ran the club, I've played golf several times with her husband, and it was, just a club that just had a couple teams. And so she and both of them are kind of throwbacks to what the typical Nebraska player has been. One was from Lincoln, and one was from a small club team. I don't know that Andy had, whether she had the junior national background that many of the Nebraska players have, but she is. I'm sure every team that plays Nebraska takes some time to think about how we're going to deal with this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll listen, you guys. I call her, I think she's majestic. I just think Andy Jackson is an athlete, is a physical specimen that you just, there are just some people that are in that level, and she's in that level. Like I said, I sat closer to the floor tonight, and I haven't really been around the players much, honestly, as the team. And I'll tell you, she's physically amazing. Well, Coach, I cannot tell you how thankful I am that you were on with us tonight. Tell us, when does your podcast typically air, so that the viewers that listen to 93.7 The Ticket can tune into your podcast, Coach?
It's called Inside the Coaching Mind, and it comes out in audio form and on YouTube. And the next one will be that Monday following the regional final. We will record it at 9 a.m. Central Time. By 10:30 on December 15th, it will be up, and they can always go to my Facebook page or just enter my name on the internet, say podcast, and you can find it, or enter my name on the YouTube and you can find it. But, I'm really looking forward to hearing those people, because Kirsten is as good a coach as we've had coaching in recent years. And Val has special insight into setters, and Jim Stone analyzes these teams better than anybody I know.
Yeah.
And, whenever I have an opinion and I'm not sure about it, I'll call Jim and say, am I off on this, or what do you think? So it's fun. Human X Ventures makes it all possible, and they're a company that, among other things, hires coaches. So I appreciate that. And Mandy, I appreciate what you're doing, and I watch your kids and winning awards, dance, and whatever. So it looks like you're having a great time.
I am. Thank you. Blaine, my oldest daughter, she got to the state volleyball, didn't get to the championship match, but Lincoln Southeast made it to the state tournament. So that was pretty exciting for our family this year.
Well, there's nothing, I mean, we all know this. There's nothing better than seeing your kid have success.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So
it's a lot of fun.
I'm glad things are going well for you, and I appreciate the invitation to join you.
Oh, you're welcome. Coach, thank you for being on tonight. Guys, we're going to go to a short break, and then we will wrap up. Thank you so much, Coach Pettit. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mandy.
This holiday season, give the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's. During double discount days, double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and our gift cards make the perfect holiday gift. And right now, during gift card double discount days, when you buy $50 in gift cards, get a $10 gift card free. Happy holidays from Valentino's.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Acreage owner getting ready for winter? Make it easy with John Deere compact tractors and gators from Acres Equipment. Add snow blowers, front blades, cabs, heaters, and loaders to tackle every chore. Right now, in-stock units are priced to move with competitive financing to fit your budget. Get winter ready today at acres.com. Acres Equipment, your acreage handled. Financing subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial. Not all customers qualify. See dealer for details.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
If you are a business owner, I want you to think about the amount of time you've spent worrying about safety and security. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies design custom solutions for security, communication, and so much more. From automated security to secure video conferencing, their team sits down with you to get to know you and what your business needs. Manage your operations and get notified when there is suspicious activity. Save time and cut back on stress. Diode Tech always keeps you in the know. Contact them today at 402-793-5124.
Back to Nebraska Volleyball postgame on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, former Nebraska outside hitter, Mandy Monson.
We are back, everybody. Like, you guys, I cannot say how much I enjoyed having Coach Pettit on with us tonight. I just texted him and I said, hey, thank you so much, Coach. I really appreciate it. That was phenomenal. I appreciate your knowledge and breakdown of the game. And as always, go Huskers. Like, you guys, I mean, I'm just going to say how grateful I am that I got to be coached by Coach Pettit for 4 years. And, having that segment really honestly brings me back to what it was like to be a player. And, when you're a player and you're getting to be coached by a coach like Coach Pettit, the breakdown that Coach Pettit is able to do from a statistical level, like I was talking with Rudy during the break, I'm like, hey, see what he just did where he was, talking about the percentages of, we usually average 19 points on block, aces, and kills, and just taking us through that data. And I think, one thing that why Nebraska has just been consistently amazing throughout its history is we have been blessed to have amazing coaches. We're blessed to have a university that recognizes who great coaches are. And then the other thing that I have to say has just been, I think, really amazing to see is that when you think about our coaching changes, right? Coach Pettit was integral in getting Coach Cook here.
Yeah.
And then Coach Cook was integral in getting, Danny Busboom Kelly. And so, I just appreciate Coach Pettit being on. It was phenomenal. So I'm kind of blown away. And I think it's kind of a night for me. It's been such a cool night. Like I sat close to the players. And what was so fun is it kind of brought me back, I've kind of been sitting at higher levels, and I love my regular season seats. Don't get me wrong, guys. They're great. I love section B9. It's amazing. But it kind of brought me back to what it's like to be at that regional frame where you're just like, it is on a bigger stage, and you do have, more, maybe a little bit more nerves, but it's just, it's the tournament. So if you lose, you're done. And I do think there is a little bit more pressure in that for players. Do I think Nebraska got overwhelmed by the pressure? Absolutely not. But I loved that breakdown. So, and I want to say thank you. I think we have over 300 people
we are
listening right now.
We're at 327 right
you
now.
guys, 327. It's 10:16.
Mhm.
Coach Pettit was on. You're still listening. I just want to say, thank you so much. For this last segment, kind of really adding on to what, Coach Pettit and I already talked about, I think as we go into the round of the Sweet 16, I'm really excited to see the corrections and what Nebraska does when they, come back next weekend against KU. KU is a good team. I watched them play, last weekend. I think they're a physical team. And I'm sure having kind of, again, another Midwest match, they're going to be ready to play. I'm really hoping to see, I think it would be a cool thing to see Nebraska play Louisville, in that regional final. I just think if that does take place, I believe the venue, I believe John Cook Arena, the Bob is going to be electric. I think that would be so cool. I think it'll be really interesting to see who comes through the Sweet 16. I mean, my picks for the Final Four are Nebraska, Pitt, Texas, and Kentucky. I just think those teams are I think statistically they are most likely to get through. I do agree with Coach Pettit though in regard to Wisconsin, but I've also seen Stanford play, and Stanford is a very, very good team. And so that's going to be a battle of a match between Wisconsin and Stanford. And, Coach Skinner, who actually coached under Coach Pettit, I think when they maybe when they won the 95 championship, I might be speaking out of turn. But, Coach Skinner, who also coached at Nebraska, leads that Kentucky team. And it's a very good team. I mean, their left sides are phenomenal. Again, like what I just don't see in the field is two middles like we have and just the all around play. I agree. We did not attack from the back row as much. I think we got to bring that back next weekend and see some more success with that. Before we go, guys, I do want to remind everyone that don't forget tomorrow, if you're looking to do something fun, you want to visit Wax Buffalo German-inspired winter holiday market from 11 to 5 in the Haymarket. There's shopping, there's hot drinks, and that's right, Rudy, Christmas spirit. It's brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Coach Pettit, thank you for being on the show. Rudy, thanks for being an amazing producer, dude. I think we killed it this
we've
weekend.
been killing it. We're on a streak right now.
And that's right. You guys, the Huskers did 2 matches in a row, sweeps 3-0. We're moving on to the Sweet 16. Everybody enjoy the rest of your night. Go Huskers. And that's right. Keep tuning in to 93.7 The Ticket.